We are now entering the awards portion of our program. Frank and Al, please join me up on stage. This year, the Veteran of the Year Award is presented to Major General Tom Jones. General Jones is a veteran of both Vietnam and the First Gulf War, and later headed all training for the Marines during the first few years of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
The mission came together for Outdoor Odyssey from my background. I was an at-risk kid. I was in trouble as a youth, and had I not been helped by somebody, I may not even finish high school, let alone going to college and be a Marine. When I was in school, I was in trouble, and an individual helped me, and I ended up making the promise to this individual that I would go to college and stay in college, and went to the same college he went to. And one of the individuals that lived in the house I lived in, he decided to join the Marine Corps. And he was killed in Vietnam. And so I decided when I got out of college that I need to go to the Marine Corps. So I joined the Marine Corps, and my idea was just to do my tour and go to Vietnam and go back and do whatever, but I ended up spending the better part of 4 decades. But I realized about halfway through my Marine Corps career is when I started this idea that I'd been so blessed. I had gained so much from my experience as a Marine, and was so blessed that I developed this concept. I was an infantry guy in the Marine Corps, had a lot of high adventure experiences, and the dynamic of bonding is very much part of the Marine Corps. Team is all about the Marine Corps. And so I had this idea that I would start a camp much in the manner of an outward bounds, but with a follow-up mechanism for mentorship. And so that's how Outdoor Odyssey was conceived in my mind, and I kept this as kind of a Willie Loman pipe dream for several years, and folks thought I was crazy, but eventually I had the opportunity, so I jumped on it, and that's how Outdoor Odyssey began. How we started out, Wounded Warrior here, it was not even originally on our plate or even our imagination. Obviously, I'm a Marine officer on active duty at the time the war starts, so I go to visit Bethesda every week. The least I can do. I got peers that are in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan. And one of those visits, I met a young reserve captain that was injured. And when he got out of the hospital after a lengthy stay, he came to me to ask about helping him build a nonprofit for helping folks transition. And what started out as a one session here in 2007 now has evolved to we have 6 this year. In the future, I think there's still a good concept of going regional in different sites. The need for it transcends what we're doing here. We're only dealing with 30 every 6 to 8 weeks, and the numbers are in the thousands of people who could be helped by something like this. And some of these young guys came straight to the Marine Corps, the Army, the Navy, right out of high school. They have not thought about resumes or interviewing, or we have a certain number of the cohort that's going on to college. We bring professors in from University of Pittsburgh, and they talk to them about not only some of the mechanical things you've got to go through to become a college student, but some of the things you need to think about to be a college student. I mean, gosh, it's hard to get your mind wrapped around what I'm going to do later in life when all you've been thinking about is trying to get myself, over this injury. Physical therapy, occupational therapy, and especially those who have lost a limb. There's a lot goes into that in trying to restructure yourself. And we do a lot of fun things. I mean, we get them into fitness up here. And we got a fitness routine up here that's anybody can do. We even put them on the climbing wall and the zip line and things of that nature. We do initiatives. Again, the whole idea is showing them that the team is still very strong. I'm a Marine, so I really do believe that simplify means simplify. It does mean always faithful. And we try to show them that by building that team concept that folks will stand by you in the future. And we're going to help them build that team concept out in the community. For example, today I have coming back a participant that was in the January class. He was hurt very seriously. I linked him up with one of my former buddies who was down in Phoenix, Arizona, working for General Dynamics. He has mentored him. He's taken the ball games, and he's taken other events, but he's put his arm around him and helped him in the transition. He's coming back this week to spend the week with the Wounded Warriors. Well, what this all means to me personally, I was very fortunate. I was helped as a young guy And I feel blessed to have been a Marine for as long as I've been a Marine. And I got far more than my fair share of good deals and blessings. And that's what drove me to start Outdoor Odyssey. I come up here, Outdoor Odyssey, and I get more than I ever give up here. To watching the wounded folks come up here and helping them, it just gives me the assurance that Semper Fi does mean Semper Fi. I can take a lot of satisfaction from that. And we're not even scratching the surface. And we're not even scratching the surface in relative terms of what they've given our country, these young people. And so it gives me a sense of satisfaction in a very small way that we're trying to show these folks that, hey, there are folks that come down from Pittsburgh and will spend the whole week with you. We've got a guy come up here from D.C. today, is taking a week's leave, vacation, one of his week's vacation, a retired Marine, to be a team leader all week. And that's direct evidence that people care. And so I get a good bit of satisfaction in my adult life, my advanced age, that I'm still fortunate to deal with people like that, you know. And so the satisfaction and the returns I get from not only from Outdoor Odyssey but from dealing with the Wounded Warriors, again, really eclipse what I've given.
You know, General Tom Jones was a gift to our nation as a career Marine officer and then as a general officer, and now he's a gift to Western Pennsylvania as a retired, well, maybe never retired Marine general officer and head of Outdoor Odyssey. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to present the 2010 Veteran of the Year Award to Major General Tom Jones.
Well, you're all lucky because he only gave me 2 flipping minutes to talk. But people who know me well know I talk fast, so I can say a lot in 2 minutes. First off, I must say that I am very much humbled by this. I can look out in the audience and see 4 or 5 people more worthy than I. I think back, Joe Wadlow asked me earlier this evening to show the picture of the guy that the reason why I joined the Marine Corps for 2 years, Tom Jennings, and it's still in my wallet. It's been there since 1966. And I think of Tom now. Tom doesn't have a wife, 3 kids, and 8 grandkids. And so if I can do anything at all to help somebody else, I've not done much compared to what Tom Jennings did in March of '66. So you humble me by this recognition. I'm sitting right next to an Iwo Jima guy. Holy smokes. I mean, our whole career, seriously, as Marines, the Marines know this. We often say, this is nothing compared to what they did in Iwo Jima. If they did in Iwo Jima, we can do this. And I think the general officers and the colonels and the lieutenant colonels and the staff sergeants and the sergeants, they say it today in Afghanistan. Heck, fire, guys. If they did it in Iwo Jima, we can do this. So I'm honored to be here. I would ask you all to think about one thing. Who are you mentoring? We got so many, Al mentioned it, and Al's been to the camp with Annette and other folks from the organization. They've seen what we're trying to do, but we're only scratching the surface. Who are you mentoring? If you don't leave here tonight and look at your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or both, and you don't say, who can I link up with and who can I help? It doesn't take a Harvard grad like Glenn Meekum to find somebody to mentor. I'm serious, folks. What these young guys and gals need more than anything, what they need more than anything, is somebody to look them in the eye and say, thank you, now I'm going to take personal interest in you, I'm going to go the extra mile for you, and I'm going to help you find your way. The number of folks that have combat stress now is alarming. And that shouldn't be surprising. Some of these guys and gals have deployed 5 and 6 times. I was a Marine for 36 flipping years. I never deployed like that in 36 years. So remind yourself of what they're doing for us today, and the fight's not over. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank all the folks from Pittsburgh who helped out. I could name a lot of folks here who helped out. None more than Dan Poltz out here. I've got to thank my son, who I started Outdoor Odyssey while I was on active duty. I told him I'd stay my 2 more years, and I spent 7 more years because of 9/11. And he ran the place. I wouldn't be there without him. One of our cohorts in crime, Brandon Jones, my son, Lucas Walker's been with us for 7 or 8 years. I couldn't, Outdoor Odyssey wouldn't be there without those guys. I certainly wouldn't be anywhere without my wife, Nancy, so I thank you, Nance, for sticking with me and wire brushing me when I need it. But folks, I tell you, what I think we all as Americans ought to remind ourselves how lucky we are. We tend to gripe about the stock market's down and foreclosures are up, but dadgummit, morale should be up. Because we still live in the best daggum country, and I've been around the world a couple, 3 times, and there's no second place. Hurrah.
If you want to see a place where things are happening in Western Pennsylvania to help young people and wounded warriors and all kinds of folks, go to Outdoor Odyssey up in the Laurel Highlands and hear the general speak. He is a Marine's Marine.